I'm gardening for ecology, for food, for joy, but I'm also gardening for you. I just really want to savor the mornings like this that we have because I know the season we're headed into is going to be a bit more eventful. But right now, with the birds singing, whatever that is, and this cooler weather, we just got a lot of rain, moisture in the soil, mosquitoes are back. It feels pretty good. Feels like the time you got to soak it up, and you should soak it up because it will be more challenging. And last week when it got really warm, I noticed my cucumbers during the middle of the day were kind of cratering, and it made me sad because I just felt like I really want these cucumbers to be successful. But it was a key reminder of how hot and how quick it can get. And I don't know if you've been following along, but I took down all of my shade structure because I want to share my experience. I want to experiment for you. The fact that I have this piece of land that I can work on, that I can grow on, that I can learn from, I feel obligated, and it's in line with my values and my mission to share that with you because I don't want you to try to do exactly what I'm doing. You've got a completely different microclimate and set of circumstances and different motivation. Maybe you're growing different crops for different reasons. That's okay. But being in Central Texas, specifically Austin, I'm like, just a few minutes from downtown. This is where I want to grow from and make ripples from for you. But back to those cucumbers. I got a little bit down because I saw that happening, but I thought to myself, I know why I'm doing this. Because I have a plan. I'm automating my irrigation so that I can be more efficient, more regular, and I'm going to experiment to see how well I can do without the shade structure, but also relying on healthy soil, biology, mulch, and also some elements related to seed saving. The cucumbers I'm growing this season, I'm starting fresh with. I've got the Suyo Long, and I also have a cucumber melon, the Caracello Lacessi striped. I've grown both of those numerous times, but I never saved seeds from them. So they're two different species. I should be able to save seeds and hopefully begin to select for properties, likely, heat tolerance. We need to be more localized. Gardening represents an opportunity to not only grow healthy food and have a positive impact on our environment, but to build community. And we can do that through this network, whether it's social media or events. I like to get out there and mix it up with you and meet you, share some of these seeds, these stories, and also learn. The questions, the stories that I hear from others really inform me and inspire me. Quite honestly, that's a lot of my motivation for why I do what I do. The fact that I got so many questions and so much interest in the shade structure really made me think. That was a great practice and demonstration. I'll say more on that specifically in another video down the road. I have a lot of thoughts just based on the 2 years when I had that structure here, but not everybody can pull that together. Not everyone has that. There are different ways to do it, and I want to explore those. So this season, it started off really spicy. We had warm February, hot March. I advanced my plan. I put in my heat-loving crops. Then we got cold. I saw some cold damage on some of my heat-loving crops, and I thought, whoa, that's not great. But the fact that I am a seed saver and seeing some different responses in different individual plants really takes me further into that point of value, which is that if I can have an okra plant that I'm able to start early, will produce early, is also heat tolerant and productive, and can take some cooler temperatures, if we get one of those cold snaps, then that's that's a winner for this climate. It's always going to be a roller coaster here. There's always going to be extremes, swings. When it's hot, it's hot. When it rains, boy, does it rain. And that may be where we're getting into in May. So, you know, I'm really trying to savor the garden, going back to how I started this video, just because, yeah, when those storms come through, when, you know, the heavy rain comes through, that can alter the aesthetics of the garden, and it can make for a very challenging set of circumstance. But I want to highlight, you know, one reason why I cultivate in raised beds, not only to build a healthy soil in an area where we might be lacking in soil organic matter, but to be able to withstand these periods of heavy rain and floods. Yeah, well-draining soil in a raised bed has proven to be an asset for me. You know, it's not very frequent, but when the rains come, these raised beds do well. And I've seen some of the comments in recent videos where people are talking about the effects the rains have had on their crops and their plants, and they're seeing yellow leaves on the lower portions of the plant, which may indicate, you know, some waterlogged soil, overwatering, or just too much water. You know, it's not our fault, right? So yeah, what kind of soil are you growing in? Are they in raised beds? How well draining they are? So there's a lot of different fundamentals that are wrapped up in this equation. But I'm here gardening for all of us, because the fact that I get to do it, I don't want to take for granted the opportunity to share how valuable this is, you know, not only to me, but to others, to the community, to the future. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to be here one day, but I hope that these videos will be. And I see it as a way to transcend time and space. Okay. But just to be able to continue to add value to our world, our living world. Other random thoughts I was having yesterday, it was Earth Day, was, yeah, I mean, Earth Day is great. Sustainability, these are all good principles, but we have to come to terms with the fact that we are responsible for making the right choices. And sometimes, some circumstances, those choices are limited. And it can be hard. You know, I talked about the environmental conditions, what it's like to grow here. We need to choose the path of no pesticides, no fungicides, no herbicides, no synthetic fertilizers, no chemicals. You know, don't poison this planet. This planet provides, not only is it growing beauty and food and herbs and life, birds, the wind, the chimes, this truly elegant, mystical morning that I get to enjoy, stepping on the soft ground. When we have the choice, we must make the most informed choice. And if that leads us to a place that is a more challenging circumstance, meaning we're dealing with disease, we're dealing with pest pressure, we have to understand that there's learning opportunities there. That's what I've learned here over the last 20 years. I used to use, you know, some fungicides, biological fungicides, which I think there's merit to, certainly much better than, you know, some of the others. Even the organic pesticides, I used to utilize them, but I've let go. I've just let go, because I see the balance in the ecosystem that has evolved. My apologies for that abrupt ending to my tangent. Now check out more awesome gardening videos on my channel. Make sure you like this video and follow New Garden Road for weekly content. You can grow your own food. Keep it organic.